morning. What we're going to think about today is how we can have hope for tomorrow. Last week, Rachel kicked off our series on hope, talking about hope for today. And I think having hope for tomorrow is perhaps a bit more tricky. I don't know if you're anything like me and you like to dream and to plan ahead and think about your life and where you want it to go and all of those other important people too, and what you're hoping and dreaming for their lives. And somehow you kind of want all your ducks to be in a row, if that makes sense. My ducks are often scattered about, or in some areas of my life, 2 or 3 maybe lined up nicely. But I'm impatient to see things all come together, all lined up nicely and tidy in my life. And that impatience has been something that God has been speaking to me about lately, and encouraging me not to be so fretful or ready to try and make things happen for God. I don't know if you've ever heard of this phrase. Sometimes my friends use it when they're trying to encourage me. God's got this. And I can often lose track of the knowledge of God has got this. He's got me. He's got my life in his hands. At the beginning of every new year, Mark and I try to set aside some time to pray and ask God to speak to us for the new year. And for 2021, I had felt that God impressed upon me the story of Ishmael, that it's really going to be key for us in 2021. And I'm just going to read the first little bit of that story in case you're not familiar with it. It's in Genesis 16. Now Sarai, Abraham's wife, had borne him no children, but she had an Egyptian maidservant named Hagar. So she said to Abraham, "The Lord has kept me from having children. Go, sleep with my maidservant. Perhaps I can build a family through her." Now, to set a bit of context for that, God had promised Abraham that his descendants would be as many as the stars in the sky. So this was a point for Sarai where she was getting older and a big bit of doubt was kicking in for her, and she was looking around at her circumstances and thinking, how is God going to do this? I probably need to make something happen. And so Ishmael was born. And God is teaching me within that story that I need to wait. I mustn't make things happen. And that's not to say that I'm going to try and have more children or anything like that. It's nothing as dire as what Sarai was working out. But sometimes I think we can be in danger of planning ahead and trying to work out how God's going to do everything according to perhaps what he's promised over us. And he just wants us to relax, trust him, look to him. Just stop, wait, and listen. So some other keys then to how we can stay hopeful for a future that we really can't see. And let's face it, the current climate that we're going through is pretty daunting, and it can be a very anxious time. So how can we have hope? So apart from stop, wait, and listen to God, listen to him, I think a very important aspect is focusing on who God is. Key scripture for this is Psalm 86 verse 15, and these words appear in many times in scripture actually, but it's Yahweh, compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in love and faithfulness. This is the God that we love. This is the God that we serve and trust. He is compassionate and gracious. When we start to hold on to who God is, then we can have hope for the future, can't we? Because we know that he is good and he is faithful. The next thing I would say is a brilliant key is thinking about what he promises to do for you, with you, working for you, working all things out for our good. And a scripture that backs that up, if you want to look it up, is Romans 8:28. And then third key, consider Jesus and his power to save us, deliver and protect us, and heal us because of the cross. And scripture you might want to look at for that is in Luke 4 and verse 18. Jesus is amazing, and when we focus our eyes on him and what he's done for us, it helps us to have a hope for our future, just for our eternity. Even if we can't see a way ahead in this life, we know that he's saved us for eternity. And finally, I would say, remember, God has a plan. Even when we can't discern what tomorrow's going to bring, look in Revelation 22 and verse 12 for that. He's preparing a place for us with him in heaven. He's planning to come back. He's returning. And in the meantime, he's looking to call people back into relationship with him. And he wants us to be a part of that. And that gives us tremendous hope for the future, doesn't it? It gives us a sense of purpose and that we've got something to keep getting up in the morning for. You know, he wants to involve us in his great cosmic plan to save humanity. So we can pray into all of those things, can't we, with confidence and hope, because he still reigns and he's still God. I just want to close with this wonderful song by Philippa Hanna. Just allow the words to minister to you and to grow your sense of hope. If you're feeling a little bit hopeless this morning, just dwell on this song and remember those keys. Stop, wait, listen, focus on who God is, think about his promises over you, consider Jesus and what he's done for you, and remember that he has a plan for you.